What up friends, Liron here. Today we're gonna look at another primary combination. What up friends, Liron here. Thank you for joining me in another video. And today in this one, we're gonna look at another primary combination of three paints. These are all by Schmincke, so let me show them to you. The first one we're gonna look at is the Perylene Dark Red. We have the Indian Yellow, and down here we have the Cobalt Azure. So 1, 2, 3. These are the three paints we're going to use by Schmincke. I love these ones, and let me give you a sneak peek of the result. I was really surprised by it. Wasn't expecting it to be so pretty, and I can totally see myself using these. Okay, so if you're ready, let's change the angle and take a look at these. Okay, so to get started, I want to show them to you on my palette. So here we have the Perylene Dark Red, here we have the Indian Yellow, and this one is the Cobalt Azure, okay? So 1, 2, 3, these are the ones we're gonna use. I prepared here some information for you, and I wanna go over them one by one and just read to you the description here on the brochure as I'm painting, okay? Because I find it pretty interesting. Or maybe we can do that before I even paint. So the Perylene Dark Red, what they say is replaces dark red, now warmer deep red with higher Lightfastness. So this one, okay, warmer deep red with higher Lightfastness, okay? Now I want to show you about the Indian Yellow. So let me just open up the brochure. Okay, so about the Indian Yellow, it says, which is this one again, says modern replacement of former animal metabolism product from India, which was prohibited long ago. Classic, very transparent mix of two pigments, okay? We will soon take a deeper look into what each of these contains, okay? And their characteristics. The next one we have is the Cobalt Azure, and about that, so it says soft greenish light blue, sky blue for landscape paintings, strongly granulating. Okay, so this is the only one here that's gonna granulate, these two aren't. So anyway, yeah, now I have the swatches here, let me rearrange stuff and we'll get started. Okay, so I cleaned up some wells on my palette, and many of you who know me know that I don't do that often, and I do want you to better see what the paint looks like on the palette, but I love to just leave the palette dirty because I always make use of the colors that are left over there. So anyway, we're gonna start here with the Perylene Dark Red, which is, you can see some of the detail here. It's PR 178. Here's what it looks like here on the palette. All of these Lightfastness is great. It's 4 out of 5 stars basically. This one is semi-opaque and semi-staining, and as I mentioned, it's non-granulating. Okay, so here is what it looks like, and hopefully I will edit this to zoom in a bit so you can better see. Now let me just add a bit more red to the mixture here. So after we do this, we'll go on to try and see how these mix together and if they can make a good maybe primary trio. But anyway, what's interesting is that looking at these, once I'm finishing with the swatches, they look like really well-balanced primaries to use. I'll show you once these are all in place. So this is again the Perylene Dark Red, PR 178. Next up we have the Indian Yellow, so it's this one here. I'm gonna show you. I love this one. You know, I'm a sucker for warm yellows and kind of oranges, so this has a spot in my heart. Fell in love with it immediately. It kind of reminded me of my new gamboge that I've been using for so long. I think this one veers more towards the orange than the new gamboge, and I really like it. And it doesn't turn out that dark, so I can just grab it straight out of the tube and place it on the paper, and it won't be as strong. So this one is composed of PY 110 and PY 154. Again, Lightfastness is 4 out of 5 stars. This one is transparent, semi-staining, non-granulating. So usually the yellow ones I didn't see that many yellows that granulate. They tend to be, again, lighter in value, which can lead to more transparency, though not always. And yeah, this one's less staining. And finally, we have the Cobalt Azure. Now, when I'm going to add this one, which is here, you will see how this really looks like a bright kind of primary combination that I think can work really well. It's not completely balanced, as you'll soon see, but it does have quite a nice balance. And immediately the Cobalt Azure is really strong and vibrant and dominant. I love this one. I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful paint. If you remember, I showed it on the review of the new tubes by Schmincke, and I was immediately enamored by it, I think you can say. So this one is PB35, Lightfastness 4 out of 5. This one is transparent again. It's non-staining at all, and it is granulating. It's the only one here that granulates, okay? So now that we can look at all of these, they kind of remind me of Daniel Smith's, I don't think I have the packaging here, but the Daniel Smith's primary trio that they sell together in one package. It's also pretty bright. The only difference is I think the yellow there is a bit cooler. So you don't have this warm Indian yellow, you'll have something more like a lemon yellow that you can see here on the palette. They also give the Perylene Red, and the blue is French Ultramarine. So it's not really identical, but it kind of reminds me, it has this similar feeling to it, okay? So next up, what I want us to do is try and see what these two, how the two combine. So I'm going to start first with trying to make an orangey consistency here. So I'm just going to grab these two, mix them a bit together, and I'm going to go straight over the text I put here. And you can see it's not the brightest orange, but the more I will add some more yellow and red to it, I think we're going to try and get this to be a very strong mixture. So you see it kind of has this fiery feeling to it almost. This actually reminds me a bit of the Saturn Red, which is just a beautiful, beautiful red. But still, this one I like it a lot as well. So now it's mainly dominated by the red. If I do this, it will even add more red to it. So let's try and go back a bit towards the yellow. Okay, so I'm going to grab some more yellow, add it to the mixture here. And we'll try and take a few steps back towards the yellow. So here we have a bit of a more vibrant orange. I'm going to clean up the brush. By the way, the brush I'm using is a Princeton brush. I hated it when I just got started in watercolor and I got it. But now, the more I learn to appreciate the synthetic brushes, I'm starting to love this one because it allows me to do some things that my other brushes don't. And just generally, I think I will make a switch to only synthetic in the future just because of the, I don't know, it kind of grosses me out to think that it's made of animals. So anyway, this is the first one. I'm going to move on to the next, and you can just see what a beautiful scale we have here from sort of orangey to dark red and then back to yellow. I'm going to try now to combine the yellow and the green, the blue, to create green. So what we're going to do is just clean up this area. I'm going to add some water to it and then just dab it all away. There we go. By the way, I wanted to originally make this video about the English Venetian red, and then Tio got ahead of me actually, and he just made one with it, so I decided not to use it. So you can check out his video, a really cool one as well. So I'm going to start once again with some yellow here. I'm going to give the yellow a bit more place to shine, a bit more room to shine. So let's put some yellow here now. We'll add a bit of green, and already this Cobalt Azure is really strong, so you can just put a little bit of it and you can see the result. This one's a lovely kind of very light green. I like it. I'll try not to contaminate the yellow too much, but it's really unavoidable at some point. But usually I just wash the top a bit and it's fine. I know a lot of people kind of freak out about contaminating their paint, stuff like that. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I don't find that to be a major issue. So take a look at this. This is beautiful. I'm gonna try and pick it up a notch and really get it to be darker and maybe even towards the blue. Okay, so now we have this kind of a almost emerald green to it. So very interesting. I'm going to try to darken things up. I know a lot of people cringe when I do that, when I put that strong strong blue into the yellow, but that's okay. I'm not afraid of these kinds of things. So yeah, I'm going to get it to be really dark. And you can kind of see the combination you can get. Let me try and blue it up even more, just so that we can see the other extreme. And here we have it a little bluer, I guess. Not entirely blue, kind of similar to this one. And when you see all of this together, I think it just looks fantastic. This is a very interesting combination of three primaries that I will use. Sorry, I have a weird voice today. So anyway, I actually have been toying around with the idea of making a podcast, so hopefully more updates on that soon. I'm just gonna now work on the Perylene Dark Red and Cobalt Azure. I've been toying around with this idea for a while now, and I actually had a dream, like a message in a dream basically, that told me that I should do it, and I may do it. I need to just figure out the logistics and what I want to talk about exactly, but I will definitely keep you updated. So now I have some red here. Let's add some blue to it. And this mixture will mute a bit, okay? We're not going to get a really vibrant and happy violet purple. It's going to be a very muted one. Okay, so now I'm moving it towards, more towards the blue here. And I want to darken it up. So I'm going to add a lot more blue and a lot more red. And these two, the thing is, usually when the mixture darkens a lot, with the blues and reds, it's a kind of a muted. Look at it, it's almost gray. This actually reminds me a bit of Payne's gray. So these two won't fare as well in terms of making like a bright violet or purple. I actually knew this going from this point because I can already kind of figure out what different combinations would look like. The upside of this is that it will be good for darkening things. So you can achieve a very dark value with this mixture. So that's a good thing. If you want to add some shadows and things like this, this mixture can definitely help. So now the final step I want to make is I want to create a gray, and we're going to do this right here. I can basically use this one, just add a little bit more red to it. Okay, so now it's kind of on the, again, dark dead purple. I'll clean my brush and I come back with some yellow here to this mixture, and this is what will turn it into gray. So let's see what we got here. So now you can see it's a bit more gray. I actually feel like it's a bit green, so I want to try, well, we're going to add a bit of everything here because I also want to darken it. So I'm going to add some red and then finally some blue. And you can kind of look at the mixture here and know if it's enough of what you want. So I think a bit more red is needed here. And now we'll take a look at this. So now it may look even a bit warm. And then you just go ahead and add a bit of everything in small increments until you get the kind of gray you want. So I knew this won't produce a perfect gray. I just want to darken things up at this point. But I knew this won't produce a perfect gray. But it's actually kind of a nice one. You can, I think, build an entire painting just playing on the variation of grays. And let me move this a bit so you can better see. You can really, I think, create a whole painting just based on these gray variations, and it will be a very interesting work of art. So anyway, here's all the paints. You can see them now together. Let me change it a bit. And here again, the colors are the way they look on the palette. So we have the Perylene Dark Red, Indian Yellow that's highly contaminated, but it cleans really easily, and Cobalt Azure. Okay, so I really hope you enjoy seeing all of these combos together. I think this is gonna be a really nice palette to work with. Anyway, let's change the angle and wrap up this video. So friends, I hope you enjoyed this review and just seeing these three together. Again, here's what the result looks like. I was highly pleased with these ones. I love the way it looks together. All of the greens especially, take a look at this. Oh, and think about it, the camera even changes the colors. They look even better in real life. even better. So I think these greens will be really good for tropical stuff. I love the oranges and sort of reds and the muted kind of dark purples or violets, and the grays I think can create a beautiful painting on their own. So anyway, really wasn't expecting this. I was surprised, and I'm happy because I have a lot of these just to continue working on. I think I will give them a test in the next few paintings and see how I like these combinations. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram and Snapchat, where I share my day-to-day life, the things I'm doing, what I'm sketching, what I'm painting. This is gonna be now there when I recorded this, which is a few days ago. So if you want to see more updates live, make sure to check me out there, check my accounts there. And anyway, this is it. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you again really soon.